Hello and welcome back to Center Webcast. My name is Gerald Smith. This is the COVID-19 Indiana County Update, episode number 24. Today is Thursday, May 19th. Today I am excited. We have another small business focus. We've got three small business owners from right around here in Indiana. Josh Rosenberger from the 700 Shop, right downtown Indiana. Quintina Thomas, owner of Hair for Everyone, also right downtown Indiana, and also Zach Morrow, the owner of Noblestein Brewery, right down there on Wayne Street. We also have, once again, David Loomis, Dr. David Loomis, emeritus professor from IUP, but right now the editor of the Hawkeye, and has been following some really exciting, I would say very, very local exciting news about how the pandemic is affecting us here locally. Some really fun local stuff there. So excited to hear about those folks. As usual, I'm joined by Dr. Sybil Moore, our co-host, and Dr. Brandon Vick is there on the Zoom and Facebook. So we're going to go right into it. The mission for the Center for Community Growth is to lead individuals and organizations in and around Indiana County, advancing social, racial, gender, LGBTQIA, economic, and environmental justice. The COVID-19 webcast is a regular broadcast designed to keep you informed during this COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests over the last 4 or 5, now 6 weeks have included elected and appointed officials, folks in nonprofits, service industry, local heroes, doing some of the incredible work to make sure in our community that no one falls through the cracks during this tough time. Don't miss, we've got a huge bank of interviews from senators to small business folks to the folks pumping out masks and face shields from here all the way to California, all on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and subscribe there. We hope this remotely produced broadcast will help you understand this pandemic, how it's impacting you, the Indiana community. Still coming at you Sundays at 2, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. And all these episodes are available for replay. We're excited about today, so I'm going to pass it right over to Sybil, who's going to start off, I believe, with definitely one of my 2 favorite Indiana breweries. One of my top favorite breweries. Sybil, go ahead.
Hello. We're here now with Zach Morrow, the owner of Noblestein Brewing Company here locally in Indiana, PA. Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Sybil?
I'm doing great. It's been a couple years since we had you on the show. We're glad that you're back. Just starting right off, I know most of the people know where you're at, where you're located, and what you do. But can you tell us a little bit about Noblestein Brewing Company?
Absolutely. So Noblestein has been open now for just about 3.5 years, just a little over, in fact. We opened in October of 2016, and our home base is right at 1170 Wayne Avenue. Most familiar landmarks around it would be directly across the street from Tom's Cycle and right beside Robert and Bev's truck cap shop. Since we've opened, we've been joined on our flanks, I suppose, by the Indiana Cigar Club, as well as the Experience axe throwing range. So those have been two cool ads, and I'd be remiss to not mention our friends down the road at Levity Brewing Company. So we really have enjoyed serving the Indiana community by brewing craft beer. So we've tried to bring a whole wide berth of different styles of beer to Indiana, and have loved every minute of it.
And I must say that I have loved it myself. So
that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
on many occasions. So on March 17th, the governor of Pennsylvania ordered that all non-essential businesses be closed. Breweries were considered essential and were allowed to remain open, but just for takeout. So you had to modify the way that you conducted business. Can you tell us how did Noblestein make that transaction with the tap room being closed and things of that nature?
Sure. Yeah, it was, it's a very striking change, and for understandable reasons, of course. We were fortunate because we had some equipment that enabled us to put our beer into cans. When we started seeing sort of the direction of the businesses being shut down, all non-essential businesses being shut down, we sort of pivoted and committed all of our resources to getting our beer into cans. Production brewery has a timetable by which the beer is produced, conditioned, and then ready to serve. And frankly, it's a perishable product too. So we knew we couldn't just rest on our laurels, so to speak, not only from a financial perspective, but also from a real product quality perspective. So I'm really fortunate and grateful for the staff that we have. They're just a group of fantastically hard workers, and they've been so supportive of myself and each other through this. So we really pulled together, and we put as much beer into cans as we possibly could that first week, and built up a nice inventory. And then as the weeks have gone on, we've become a little bit more systematic with it. We have schedules that we're adhering to and keeping minimum inventory quantities. And we've actually managed to find some opportunities out of this too, by way of home delivery. So since this all has been announced, we've been doing local home delivery within a 10-mile radius, 3 days a week. And on top of that, we've been conducting home delivery outside the area. So we've gone to Pittsburgh, I believe it's been 2 times, and we're about to do our second run to the Altoona, Johnstown, Evansburg metropolis tomorrow. So it's been sometimes difficult to find bright spots through this, but the home delivery has certainly been a good opportunity for us.
Yeah, we're hearing, I know that some of the churches and local businesses were also saying that they did take advantage of some of the their creativity to try new ways of doing business and conducting business, like some technology, and in your case, delivery, which I know a lot of local restaurants have done too.
Sure.
We've been hearing from other business people as well, that there was quite a mixed bag with the results of the PPP and some federal monies. Did you happen to apply for any of that or receive any of that, or with the?
We did. Yeah, I had a conversation early on, probably, I want to say it was around the tail end of March, with some folks from the Center for Economic Development, and gathered some information regarding the different relief programs that were offered at that point. This was, I believe, at the front end of the CARES package that was passed. So upon hearing about the PPP, it sounded like a very logical way to ensure folks were staying employed. That was one of my primary goals at the beginning of this. It was to keep my employees working and earning a living. So, we did apply for that money. The first round, we applied as early as we possibly could, and a whole lot of credit to InFirst Bank through that. So we applied through them, and it was exceptionally good service. We did get funding that first round, which was a real blessing. And I would agree with you. I've heard kind of a mixed bag. Some folks didn't hear back, but really spoke to the value of working with a small community bank, I think. So that's been something that's facilitated us keeping everybody employed through this. Frankly, it's been a real blessing.
It is a blessing, and I'm very happy for you. I mean, some people that applied never, like you said, never heard back or didn't get the money,
Right.
and then they went through the second round, and I think they're still distributing money now from the second round of PPP, and we're hoping that all of our businesses here that need the money and the relief get that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So last Friday, the governor moved our
county
into the yellow phase. How does that look for Noblestein? Has that changed a whole lot from red phase?
It really has not. The chart that I think has made its way around the internet, one of the key points is restaurants and bars and breweries are kind of held under that same frame of reference, are limited to to-go sales only. So, we continue to do the deliveries and take out sales from our tap room and curbside and all of that stuff as well. But really, it hasn't changed anything functionally speaking. But of course, it gets us thinking towards those next steps for the green phase and just, continuing to keep people safe through this.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what are some of the ways that you're using PPE and the social distancing requirements during this as far as your employees and your business is concerned?
Sure. What we've done, we've tried to really just minimize the touch points of a customer visit. So frankly, whenever someone walks into the tap room, if they elect to walk in, they simply come to the counter, and we try to be as low touch as possible, like I said. So generally speaking, we'll have the card reader out so the person can actually just insert their card. We're keeping everything sanitized. So between every use of that, we're wiping it down with sanitizing wipes, in addition to, all of the surfaces, the bar top where folks would be and where the transaction would occur. To take a step back, we're also offering that curbside service. So for instance, if someone comes in, they've forgotten their mask, or they would just feel more comfortable staying in their vehicle, they can simply call, and we're happy to complete the transaction over the phone and take the beer right out to their car. So, and of course, masks for everybody. That's been something that we've kept constant here and continue to.
So what are your plans for the near future? And then what happens when you go to green? I know they're still talking about some restrictions when we go to green, as far as like 6 feet apart with people and things like that. Are you hearing anything about that coming down the pike?
I've heard things here and there. I've heard things about 100 person limits, and like you said, continued social distancing. So it certainly does beg the question as to how bars and restaurants will adjust to that. Right now, my tentative plans are to actually remove some of the seating in our establishment so as to create more space in between, if indoor seating is something that is permitted in the green phase, for instance. But in the case of just general approach, I think one of the big elements that we're going to encourage is outdoor seating, frankly. We do have our patio out back, which we're about to give a facelift to. So, I think that's going to be a safe alternative, or a safer alternative. We'll be, separating those tables a little bit more. And although cornhole and can jam might be off the table for a little while yet, we still think that hopefully there's an opportunity in the coming months here for some socially distant consumption.
So can you tell us a little bit about any of your special promotions you have going on, new beer collaborations? I know when I looked on your website, it looked like you have some new beer collaborations there, or anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Sure. Yeah, we're actually we're still offering our mug club, which is essentially a discount club. We offer that for sale usually just in March and April every year, but based on the sales window and the circumstances, we've extended that. So that is still for sale. And in addition to that particular, membership, we've tried to keep things fresh with our list. So as you had mentioned, we've released quite a lot of new beers over the last few weeks. And actually the next few are ultra exciting in my mind. We've got one coming out in a few weeks here. It's a cherry cobbler sour. So it's a dessert sour. I think it's going to be pretty neat. We've also got a special project that we're working on with the Jimmy Stewart Museum. So I'll be really excited when we can announce and promote that. I think it's going to be a really nice way to bring this community to support, not only the local craft beer scene, but also the Jimmy Stewart Museum, and especially in the context of COVID and their altered operations. They're really, limited to kind of the digital relations at this point. So we're excited to be able to support them.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. We're hoping that the green phase comes as soon as possible. Of course, keeping in mind that our health comes first. We really appreciate you being on, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks for having me. Have a great evening.
Take care, Zach. Bye.
See ya.